Welcome to Good Burger Reviews. I'm John and I'm here to do a special Halloween presentation. And today we're going to rank the Halloween openers. And I think you guys might be surprised what one takes the #1 spot. So make sure you watch the video all the way to the end to find out how Halloween ranks with opening scene. So what I'll say before we get into it is this. What makes an opening of a movie solid and better? And where do these openers fall or disappoint us? And I will say you have to take into fact this. Scream was released in 1996, which is pretty much dead smack right in the middle of this franchise's timelines. And you'll notice that there is more of a focus, more of an effort post-Scream on openings in horror movies. And that is very much reflected in this franchise. So keep that in mind as we go through. But also, what else adds and makes it a good opener? Like, I think there should be some solid tension. There should be kills. There should be Michael Myers. And believe it or not, Michael Myers is not in all 13 openings. Which leads us to what disappoints us with the openings. I'd say enough with the flashbacks and the undoing prior installments. This is where we will find weak parts of the opening scenes. So I've also learned that Halloween, the openers, is not Halloween's strong suit. Now I will say the top 5, definitely the top 3 are super openers. I love them. I can watch them I can go to YouTube like I do with the Scream openers all the time and just watch the opening scene and be entertained and like it. There's a few in the Halloween franchise that are that good. Maybe not as good as, Ghostface's first debut, but let's get into it. Coming in at number 13 for Halloween openers, Halloween 2007, the Rob Zombie reboot Halloween. So what puts this one at the bottom of the list is simply, one, there is no Michael Myers, or I should say there is no adult mask version of Michael Myers. This one opens up to even Judith's kill. It really is focused in on introducing the characters that were in the front end of the Rob Zombie film. And you have Sherry Moon, you have Rob Zombie, you have all the kids, you have Michael, you have Judith, you have even Laurie as a baby. And part of what made Halloween 2007 so weak was, for me, the characters. And all that we get in the opening is the characters bickering at the breakfast table. Bickering in a very disturbing way. And there isn't any real kills in this one. Now, there is a kill in the scene, but the kill is Michael Myers' child killing his pet rat. And they really don't even show it that much, which is good because that kind of would have been gross. Well, as a horror movie opening, it's just not solid. I mean, yeah, you're introducing your characters, you're giving your characters some development, but that's it. And that's why this one comes in dead last at the bottom. Coming in at number 12 for Halloween openers, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. This for me was definitely a very weak opening. You have the introduction of the Curse of Thorn very much in this intro. Also, it opens up to the character of Jamie Lloyd, who's played by a different actress, not Danielle Harris. So for those of you who really didn't know, and I didn't know for sure what was going on at the beginning of Halloween 6, that was even Jamie Lloyd to begin with as we're watching it unfold. All you see is a pregnant girl. She's very panicked. She gets brought to, I guess, the Smiths Grove hospital where she's going to give birth to her baby, but then is killed. And I mean, it is a creepy opening. It is a dark opening, but because of all the Curse of Thorn stuff, and because I just wasn't a fan of how they went in this one, the opening really ranks at the bottom for Halloween. And like I've said in many of my disappointments with the Halloween franchise, I hate it when they kill a character that's been beloved from the past installments. Jamie Lloyd in 4 and 5 was great. So to open with her getting knocked off in the beginning of The Curse is a disappointment. Coming in at a number 11, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. So in this one, it's one of these ones where we're dealing with a flashback. We're kind of undoing what happened at the end of Halloween 4. Because when you watch Halloween 4 by itself, it seems pretty conclusive that Michael Myers gets shot down again and dies and falls down into that little pit. At the beginning of Halloween 5, they are showing the ending of Halloween 4, but of course, right as he falls down the pit, instead of him being dead and, at the bottom, because he's shot clearly multiple times. Obviously, any normal human being would have been dead from this event. But he then gets into the river that's behind them, and he floats down a river, which was kind of goofy to see just Michael Myers floating in a river. And then he ends up crash landing at this place where this hermit is staying, and that's where he ends up staying with the hermit for a year so he can come back the following Halloween season. And there's really no kills. There's not much tension. It's mostly a flashback. It's pretty much undoing what they did in 4, and it ends up being a disappointment. Now, it is creepy. There is a little bit of tension because you don't know what Michael Myers is going to do. You definitely don't know if he's going to kill the hermit or not. But it ends up being not such a hot opener in this franchise, and that's why it ranks in at number 11. Coming in at number 10, Halloween Resurrection. And yes, many of you may be surprised, why isn't this one at the dead bottom last? And it isn't just because there is just a small part that I like, but overall this is another one that's a very disappointing opener for Halloween. You have Jamie Lee Curtis. She's in the mental hospital. She's upset. She's gone crazy because she's come to find out that at the end of Halloween H2O, she ended up not killing Michael Myers and accidentally killed an EMT, which is another dumb way of undoing the prior installment to make a sequel, to bring Michael Myers back. And I've said this in my ranking and in my other analysis of Halloween. It just alienates the greatness of H2O, because H2O has a real solid ending, a real solid finale. And honestly, the franchise could have ended there and many of the fans would have been happy. But, they wanted to come back to make a sequel. And this one, you kill off Jamie Lee Curtis as well, which I get why they did it, because Jamie Lee Curtis really wanted to be done with Halloween, but, part of her contract, she agreed to come back and film one more. Even though she comes back 20 years later again for the David Gordon Green trilogy, this is the end of the sister timeline in Halloween Resurrection. And it's not done that well. I mean, you do have, I believe there's one kill, because Halloween Resurrection overall is such a disappointment, the opener itself becomes a disappointer as well. Coming in at number 9, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Now, I was kind of surprised how low this one was coming in, but when I think about it, it really is one of the more disappointing openers in the series, and here's why I think so. If you think about the people who probably watched this when it first came out, this scene opens to some strange guy. He's running through like a parking lot or a car garage. And you think that he's probably being chased by Michael Myers. And in fact, a car that's very similar to the car Michael Myers drove in Halloween 1 is kind of chasing him around. He's kind of driving around the perimeter of the property, pulls up, pulls back. And you see this guy hiding in this like complex, and then all of a sudden out of the blue, this other man just appears, and he's kind of weird looking, he's strange, and he's chasing the guy running, and it's like the guy gets pinned under, they get pinned down, he tackles him, and the guy who's escaping is literally trying to pull at this chain, which if he can pull the chain hard enough, there's a cinder block that will move and the car will roll and crush the man on top of him trying to kill him. And that's exactly what happened. He pulls the chain, the car rolls up, but like you can tell like this killer isn't even Michael Myers, and he doesn't even seem human. He seems weird the way he reacts to the car hitting him. And that is it to the opening in Halloween 3. So I mean, I'd say the tension's there. It's a decent little scene, and there is at least one kill, but I think what disappoints us the most is it really sets up Halloween 3 to make you think that Michael Myers is lurking around. And you come to find out throughout the movie that Michael Myers is nowhere to be seen. Coming in at number 8, Halloween 2, 2009, the Rob Zombie Halloween. Now, when I was first trying to think about this one, I honestly thought that this one might rank higher, because what I remembered of Halloween 2, 2009 was the hospital scene. And the hospital scene where Laurie Strode is on a stretcher and everything, and then Michael Myers comes and gets the one nurse, is a very brutal scene and would have been a great opener had it truly been the opener. I went back and rewatched the openers and found out that Halloween 2, 2009 opener is really just the end of Halloween 1, the 2007 Rob Zombie Halloween, where Laurie Strode kills Michael Myers. She's walking down the street. She gets picked up by an ambulance. And it does show her going on the stretcher and going into the Haddonfield Hospital. But like, there's really, it ends, or it goes into scene 2 really before it gets good. There's no real Michael Myers in this one. There's no real solid kill in the very beginning of Halloween 2. And this is where I'll say, like, maybe just a slight rearranging, and we're going to find this in some of the other installments, had they just really knocked the flashback out and just opened with Laurie Strode in the hospital. That hospital scene, that first hospital scene, is really solid, and this would have been further up the list. And that's why it comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7, Halloween Ends. Another bizarre opener. So for me, I mean, to me, I was surprised that this one's so far up the list, but it is because it really is better than all the ones that are after it, but it's still a fairly weak opening, because the big glaring reason is there's no Michael Myers in this opening. There is a death. It's not really a kill, but this is also the entrance of Corey Cunningham. Now, what I liked about it is you do meet Corey Cunningham. It is a babysitting scene. And when you first watch it the first time, you're waiting for Michael Myers to pop up and do something, but he never does. All that happens is Corey Cunningham and the kid are playing like some sort of hiding game, and the kid stays hiding or locks Corey Cunningham in the closet, and he ends up flying out the closet and knocking the little kid off the 3rd floor, and the little kid falls 3 stories to the front door foyer and cracks his neck and dies. Now, it's a pretty decent kill. It's a pretty decent death. And when the parents come home, it's a solid reaction. But, you know, it has all the great parts of a good opener. It's just the fact that there's no Michael Myers. Michael Myers is not in this opening, which makes it weaker for me. Coming in at number 6. Now, this is one that I really struggled with, because when I was thinking back over the franchise before I started YouTubing the openers just to kind of, you know, get all my thoughts together about them, I thought Halloween Kills was going to be at the top. And I'm going to tell you why it ends up getting knocked down 5 pegs to number 6. Because the opener is really about Officer Hawkins, and you have Cameron Elam in it, and it's post, you know, it's still the same night as Halloween 2018, and you find Cameron finds Officer Hawkins, and then it goes into the 1978 flashback. Now, I do like the 1978 flashback, and that's probably what puts this one as far up the list as it is, because I really enjoyed that as part of Halloween Kills. And you have this whole thing where they redo Halloween after Halloween 1. Instead of, you know, what Halloween 2 did in 1981, this is where they kind of reinvent the series, and they put Officer Hawkins in the forefront of this scene so that he can play out his role throughout the trilogy of David Gordon Green's trilogy. Now, it's decent. You know, there is a kill, like there's a kill in the house where Donald Pleasence, the reanimated Donald Pleasence is there, and Officer Hawkins and the other cop is there, and Michael Myers is there, and he kills the one cop. It's decent. Overall, I liked it. But the real reason why this comes in at number 6 is they really should have flip-flopped their openers. This was technically, I guess, a prologue, and if you consider the firefighter scene as part of the opener, then this would move it up, because that firefighter scene, now that's a solid opener to a movie. Michael Myers busting out of the firehouse, slashing the hell out of all the firefighters. That is awesome. That would have been number 1 for me. That would have been the top of the list, even above the original, had I considered it the opener. But when I went back and looked, it's 21 minutes in to the movie. I can't consider that part of the opener. It's post the credits. So that's why this one ends up at number 6. Coming in at number 5, Halloween 4, 1988, The Return of Michael Myers. This one is a fairly decent opener, the way it's written, what happens in it, but even though it's in the top 5, I'm still slightly mixed on it because it is a fairly basic performance. There's no main characters in it. You have Michael Myers, who's in Smith Grove, and he's about to be transferred to a hospital. Donald Pleasence, which if Donald Pleasence would have been involved in this opener, since he is a big crucial role in Halloween 4, maybe this would have been even higher up the list. But he gets into the ambulance and he's being transferred, and you know, obviously he wakes up in the ambulance and he kills the 2 ambulance drivers, and the ambulance crashes into a nearby river. I mean, it's a solid opener. Michael Myers, it's tense. It's pretty neat. It's fairly long. I mean, I wouldn't say it's super long. It's not like Halloween Kills as an opener, which could technically be almost 30 minutes of the movie. But it's decent. And it's classic Halloween. And considering this is pre-Scream, it is a half-decent opener. And this whole part where Michael Myers escapes in a vehicle and tips a truck, I mean, it gets done again and again. So they kind of copy it as well throughout the franchise. Coming in at number 4, 1981, Halloween 2, this opener. So this is, even though this is number 4, I'm still have a little mix on this one because it's one of these flashback openers. So the opener starts off with the end of Halloween 1. Now, since the end of Halloween 1 is so awesome, flashing back to this one isn't as bad as some of the other flashbacks we have throughout the franchise. But had it just been the flashback, it would have been lower on my list. But what I really like about this opener is what Donald Pleasence does after Michael Myers escapes and you see him looking at the grass spot in the yard that he's gone. And you see Donald Pleasence running around. You know, I shot him 6 times, he's yelling. But it's his this great line, and this really is what brings this line, and Donald Pleasence's performance is really what brings this one so high up in my ranking. You know, he's looking for Michael Myers. He's trying to warn the neighbor, and the neighbor's, you know, the neighbor's looking at him like, "Are you crazy?" He's like, he says, "I've been trick-or-treated to death," and Donald Pleasence says, "You don't know what death is." And it was so intense, and the music and everything, and they had brought back the they had brought in the opener of Halloween 2. You also get the Chordettes, their song Mr. Sandman. So Halloween 2 classic is a decent opener.
What's going on out here?
Call the police. Tell the sheriff I shot him.
Who?
Tell him he's still on the loose.
Is this some kind of joke? I've been trick-or-treated to death tonight.
You don't know what death is.
Okay, I'm hoping people's heads don't spin. Coming in at number 3, 1978, Halloween. Another surprising spot on the list for me where this one falls. You know, and I think, does the original Halloween, just because it's the original, because the original movie is the best of the franchise, does that automatically mean that the opener is the best of the franchise as well? And for me, no, it doesn't. Because, I mean, the opening's solid. It's in number 3. But it's fairly basic. I mean, you see Michael Myers as a child. Judith is got her boyfriend. They're making out on the couch. They go upstairs. The whole thing with this is where they introduce the POV, which is neat. He puts the mask on. You see everything through the 2 eyes. I mean, it's a very well done opener. And this is also a pre-Scream opener. But it's kind of a short opener, you know. Michael Myers goes up the stairs and, you know, it's a very simple, he stabs her, kill. And then the next thing that it flashes to, another classic Halloween image, is him standing out front and the 2 parents getting home, whipping off the mask and being like, Michael? You know, it's a solid opener. There's no doubt in my mind it's a solid opener. And I really love it. And it kicks off the franchise. But there's still 2 spots left. So if you're doing the math, you kind of know which 2 are left. Which 2 openers outdo the original 1978 Halloween? Let's get into it. I will say that I was kind of torn between which one I was going to put in 1 and which one I was going to put in 2. Because I feel like the performances in the 1 is super strong and the atmosphere in the 1 is super strong. But the basic layout of the other one is really what makes an opener solid. So coming in at number 2 for openers in the Halloween franchise, Halloween 2018, the David Gordon Green opener in Smith's Road with Dr. Sartain and the documentarians, the podcasters, showing up at Smith Groves because they want to interview Michael Myers, they want to meet Michael Myers, and they brought Michael Myers a little gift. And what I really love about this opening is it's super intense. The tension is and the dread is just drawn up to a top-notch level. The music, the atmosphere of this yard where Dr. Sartain brings the 2 podcasters out to the yard, and you have all these people in the yard, and it's like, this is like one of those mental ward prisons. So like everyone's chained up, everyone seems very special, like the other characters that add to this opener, which is part of what makes this opener so awesome. The podcasters get told that they can only go up to this line, that they shouldn't cross the line. If they cross the line, he can be in their reach, and you know, it'll end badly for them. And they're holding up the mask. They've somehow got their hands on the mask, which I thought, how'd they get the mask? But it didn't matter. This opening is really neat. They're holding up the mask and they're trying to get Michael Myers to say something, and they can't. He won't say anything. But as the guy's holding up the mask, the way all the side characters are reacting, the dog is barking, the tension is full steam here, and I really enjoyed it. And he screams out, say something, and then you flash to the opening credits. I mean, it's a really decent opening. The only one thing I wish that was really missing, I mean, you have Michael Myers, you have great tension, you have a really spooky and different type of opening. The only thing that's really lacking is there's no kill. There's no kill in this opening.
You feel the mask.
Figaro! Figaro!
Say something, Michael. Say something. You can feel it, can't you? It's a part of you, Michael. It's a part of you. Say something. Say something, Michael. Say something!
Coming in at number 1 for what I think is the best opening in the franchise of Halloween, released in 1998, Halloween H2O. And yes, I said it. Obviously, it was influenced by the Scream opener. But why is this one the best opener? I mean, is this the best opener in all movies? No. Obviously, I still think Scream's opener is the best opener of all horror movies of all time. But this one was following in the footsteps of Scream. The opener was now a solid focus of the movie. And this opening is the best because not only do you have great tension, you have some decent characters. So you have Marion Crane. She's back. She's showing up at her house to find out that her house has been broken into and vandalized. And she goes to her neighbors, which is the neighbors played by Joseph Levitt. He ends up being a really neat opening character. They go to his house, and then he goes back to her house to investigate, what happened. And then there's this whole scene where he steals beers out of her fridge. He goes over to her house and sees that there's nothing. He says the coast is clear.
Nothing to fear. The coast is clear.
You sure?
Yep, I checked all the rooms and all the closets.
Nothing's missing.
I don't think so. But they did a real number on your office.
He's with a buddy as well, and this is what's crucial about this opening. You have 3 characters in the opening. You have Marion Crane, you have the 2 kids. Now, once he gives the clear that her house is clear, she goes back to her house, but she still feels unsettled. And she gets chased by Michael Myers, and also the 2 kids are slashed by Michael Myers in this opening. One of the really coolest looking kills. It's an aftermath kill, but the ice hockey boot in the face of the kid, and then the other kid's dead as well. He falls on her, and then she also gets killed. So literally she's trying to escape, and Michael Myers comes behind her and slits her neck in the window as she's trying to get the attention of the cops. And everything unravels at the neighbor's house. So it really was a very solid opening and really filled with multiple kills. This is the biggest opener with the most kills. Now, is the acting the best? No, I mean it's serviceable. It's decent for a Halloween. And at the end of the day, this is why this one comes in at number 1 for openers in the Halloween.
So will I, Bob. Be even a stronger nation than now. You see? Your stupid mind.
Jimmy!
Stupid.
Now, I am curious to hear what you guys have to say. Obviously, this is subjective. This is my opinion. I'd love to hear your guys' ranking in my comments. You can, whatever you want to say about that. Let me know what you think. What's number 1? What's the worst? What do you like about Halloween openers? And also, I just talked about this in one of my other Halloween specials, is what would be a good opening for the next Halloween coming out? Hopefully by 2028 we get a anniversary Halloween movie. What would be a solid opener? What would be an opener that would be better than the original, better than H2O? Put that all in the comments. I'd love to discuss it and get into it. That's it. I am going to see... I plan on doing more Halloween presentations. I don't know when I will release them. I would like to rank the endings of Halloween. I also want to do death ranks of Halloween, but since there's 13 installments, it might be hard to rank all the deaths in one film, so I might break it down by timeline. So keep an eye out for those in the future. And don't forget to stay scared of those psychopathic killers that escape on Halloween night, come into your neighborhood, and kill you and your friends.